It's a completely blue sky day, and I'm seeing the first birds out in the garden. That's a robin. And there's another little fellow over in the corner here, which is maybe a fox sparrow. So I need these guys to come out here and do some rototilling. Hi, dear friend. Hi, little dear friend. Hi. Okay, folks, so my voice sounds crazy because I probably have coronavirus. This bok choy right here that I planted last week is coming up. I also planted this lettuce, but it's not quite up yet. My leeks that I planted a couple weeks ago are still not up, and neither are the parsley. But my second planting of green onions is up. This is the one I planted last week, and it's not up yet. So, onions and bok choy are going out to the greenhouse table today. Oakley dokley, folklies. I'm out here in the cucumber greenhouse. I got my little bok choy and green onions on this table over here because the table in the other greenhouse is full. I have a couple more tables that I have to put the legs in again so that I have enough tables to put all my new starts on. But I'm gonna do nothing today, except for maybe a little paperwork. So I'm feeling sorry for myself. So I got my radishes and my lofty salad mix, and I do not have, my orage is only sporadically coming up through this bed. But my planting of baby chard is all coming up very nicely. And at the very end here, I did a little test plot of some spinach, which is kind of coming up a little bit. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Taking a look this morning at the starts I have up here at the house, and the lettuce is starting to come up. So I'm gonna take these 2 flats of lettuce out to the greenhouse tables. Finally, the leeks that I seeded a couple weeks ago are starting to come up. I think I'm gonna wait though, just a little bit longer to take these 2 flats out. Okay, so I just got my free COVID tests in the mail. It actually only took like 4 days to get here, which I'm kind of surprised because everything takes longer to get to Alaska. It probably takes less time to get to other places. So let's see, self-test at home results in 15 minutes. Dudes, 15 minutes. And so there's 2 tests in each, it looks like. Yeah. Okie dokie, let's see what he says. Oh, do I have to read the instructions? Oh my God. Well, there was another little packet here hiding. I'm supposed to open this test card. And there's that. And then I think I'm supposed to open this end of the swab. The instructions are just not really clear, but I think they say like take this thing off, but you can't really pull it off. And then you're supposed to squeeze it into this tube, I guess. Get out of there, little buddy. Okay, dudes, I'm gonna stuff it in my nostril. And you're supposed to slowly brush 5 times. 1. And you do it in the other nostril. Tap the tube vertically on the table and twist the large orange cap to open the tube. What? What the fuck are they talking about? Did I insert the swab into the tube? Fuck it. I'm just going to put it in this fucking tube. Touch the bottom of the tube with the swab tip and stir at least 15 times. Okay, whatever, man. These guys are weird. Squeeze the size of the tube to express as much liquid as possible from the swab, and then remove the swab. And so I'm going to put this back inside his little thing. And then I'm supposed to screw this, screw back the large orange cap. The cap was never on the thing. Twist to open this. Okay, so then you take off this little cap here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Add 3 drops of the sample port. It doesn't say sample port, but it does say 3 drops. Wait 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to set my alarm for 15 minutes. Okay, so it's been 15 minutes exactly. Oh, gross. Why is this not in his little house? And I am positive for COVID. The T-line might be faint. Mine is not. And a negative result, you wouldn't have a T-line. The reason I was all weirded out by the cap, that orange cap situation, is because when you squeeze that liquid into the tube, you're supposed to put the cap back on, supposedly because then you might lay it down while you were swabbing your nose, right? Okay, so I'm on the CDC's COVID-19 page under the Your Health tab. And let's see here. If you are sick or test positive, you need to isolate, stay home for at least 5 days, and then take precautions until day 10. Well, wear a well-fitting mask and avoid being around people who are more likely to get very sick from COVID-19. Oakley dokley, folklies. So I'm going to be out in the greenhouse today for just a few minutes. Yesterday morning, I put up this little tunnel because the birds are now out scratching around in the seaweed, eating bugs. And I just didn't want them to get into the garlic there that I planted last fall. I had a little patch in the corner last year that they kind of scratched around, and they didn't really cause any damage, but I just want to be careful. So I threw up that little, my little wire hoops and threw some Agribon row cover over it. So this is what they've been doing. Just, mostly they go along the edges and just start working in, and they can really wreck a bed, which is what I'd like them to do. I'd like them to go through all of these beds and just, grab all the bugs that they can and just rototill my garden. But yeah, I went ahead and set this tunnel up over the garlic, so they won't they won't fiddle there. Yeah, so I'm going to be in this the basil greenhouse today. If I stick my phone under here, will you guys be able to see all the garlic plants that are out and about? La la la. Okie dokie, folks. The neighbors are doing construction earthwork over on their property there, so it's gonna be noisy. I just want to spend a few minutes out here to thin my kale and chard here. I planted multiple seeds, and so I need to kill the babies. And so normally I just pull them out, like I'll usually have tweezers or something, and I'll just pull them out. But because they're in this perlite, I'm a little afraid that I don't know how well rooted they are. So I'm just going to cut the little guys. Oh my gosh, you guys, the sun just came out. It must be my yellow sundress. Okay, everybody's been thinned down to one little plant per block. I still have a bunch of blocks that haven't germinated where I didn't put the perlite. The sun is back behind the clouds. Just these little pockets where he pops out every once in a while. I'm over here now at the composting bins where I've got my makeshift tool shed and storage area. And I had a couple of my greenhouse tables just stored over here so I'd have more room in the greenhouse to prep beds and stuff. So I just stacked them on top of each other you know, pulled their legs out so they could just be stacked. But I don't have a great way of easily taking these in and out. You know, last year I just took a piece of t-shirt and jammed it in around here to make this so it wouldn't wobble around. A couple of years ago, I put all of my starts just on the ground in the greenhouse, and oh, my eyeballs are watering. And slugs came up and they were eating my starts. I had no idea, like, what I'd come into the greenhouse the next morning and like a bunch of my little babies sprouts were just like eaten down to the nib. I mean, it wasn't funny, man. It was awful. And then I found slugs. And so since then I've been like really careful to keep my starts where the slugs cannot get them, because that was a disaster. My little piece of t-shirt, I really need a little, like I don't know. I need something different. Oakley dokley do. I got all 4 of the legs in. My little t-shirt business. Can you see? My little t-shirt business going on. And I think I'm just going to do this one table today and call it good. Today is the last day of March. And I was looking at my weather log that I keep every day. And we had 3 days during March when the sun came out. And in the past, March has been, you know, maybe a little bit more sun and actually a lot colder, you know, because a little bit more clear skies. And then you think, oh, spring is coming. And then in April, it was just like the clouds would sock in, it would rain, you know. So maybe since March has been a little bit more kind of overcast and stuff, maybe we'll get more sun in April. So we had a couple of below freezing nights early this week, or whatever you want to call it, late last week. And so I've kept this row cover on the beds in the greenhouses, you know, at night. But, you know, we've been up near 40 degrees Fahrenheit at night. So I think I'm just going to pull these guys off of here, because what happens is, especially since I've been sick, I haven't not been able to come down here to get them off. And so I think, you know, the stuff that's growing, like the little transplants and stuff, could really use a little bit just more light, and they're probably gonna be fine during the night. So the only thing I have left to do is I need to make some soil blocks to do my next succession of Salanova lettuce. 2 flats, they'll go onto the greenhouse tables along with the first succession, and when those are ready for the second planting out here in the garden, that's where they'll go. And I also need to do my weekly succession of green onions. And so, yeah, there's lots of other things I would love to do, but I'm just not feeling great. So I'm just doing the very bare minimum. Yeah, so I think that is all for the week. Hopefully next week there'll be no surprises. See you guys next week.